Hi friends, this is another video from the R2B series, also known as Road to Billion. Since, over the past 11 successful and impactful years, we've consistently helped numerous companies through our dedicated agency to earn well over 1 billion Czech crowns in significant profit via comprehensive and effective online marketing strategies, we have now decisively chosen to start making this particular type of video content, which will thoughtfully share valuable ideas and the essential mindset of innovative companies, visionary founders, skilled marketers, and experienced CEOs, so that they can also, for example, successfully sell their very own company, or effectively help their company to earn that impressive billion, or at the very least make some truly good and substantial money. And today's topic for this video will be about how to track, or what, for example, was behind the success of the company GymBeam, which, by the way, is not our client, meaning we don't manage GymBeam's campaigns. However, Dalibor Sickman, the CEO of GymBeam, mentioned in one of his interview videos that when they did a sort of reverse engineering, meaning when they looked at what was behind their success, of course there were many factors, as in every company it's always a complex organism. When a company works or doesn't work, it's not because of just one thing that can be blamed for everything. So basically, he said that they came to the conclusion that primarily in the first phase, the key to their entrepreneurial journey was that they were able to look for products and spot trends that customers were already showing interest in on the market, but the market and companies weren't yet meeting this demand by offering those products. And in this case, it's products, but in other cases, it could also be services. And they offered them in the way the customers wanted. And I see the same thing with clients we've worked with, or continue to work with. The successful ones, for whom it really worked well, for whom marketing made sense and made them money, and kept making them money, and so on. I see the same thing with them. They are constantly watching the market, looking abroad, and also here in the Czech Republic. What are the competitors actually offering? What products do they have? And what do customers want? Let me give you a simple example. You could be, for example, like here at GymBeam, and since proteins and these kinds of things, because I work out and I'm actually heading to the gym right now, it's a topic we can open up here. So if you take a company like GymBeam, which basically grew thanks to supplements, proteins, protein powders, maybe some gainers and BCAAs, those kinds of things. If you're an athlete or you work out at the gym, you use them to improve your recovery, performance, and so on. Or just to feel like you're more into fitness than you actually are, even if that's not really the case. Of course, a lot of people buy these kinds of products. But at that point, you realize that the profit margin on those proteins isn't very big. There are already tons of other companies doing this. So you probably won't build a very successful business on that alone. It might work, maybe you'll be able to grow, maybe you have better suppliers or different ingredients, you'll be able to fine-tune and solve all these things and so on. But at a certain specific point, you'll have to start looking at a new category, something you don't offer yet. Or rather, you'll have to start looking at something you don't offer yet. Maybe your competitors don't have it either, but customers might be asking for it, so you can enable that kind of rapid, rocket-like growth. Right now, you're seeing it the other way around, so there's that rocket-like growth. And in practice, that means, for example, for them, it was those nut butters. That period when every fitness company here started making and offering nut butters. Better yet, because until then, someone was making them too, but not on such a large scale. And suddenly, they jumped right in and started making those protein nut butters, pistachio butters, and those kinds of creams, which actually taste even better than just the butter itself. And that's exactly what he mentioned, using this specific example, that it was something that could have helped them. Then, of course, there was that whole thing. Now Pilates is a big hit, right? Pilates, you know? Ladies, girls, children. I'm not judging, I actually think it's a great thing, especially for core stabilization and so on. I'm not some meathead gym guy who says it's all about weights, not at all. I am a supporter of a more comprehensive approach to movement, something healthy and, above all, sustainable in the long run. So, a variety of movement. For me, that means working out, but also air bike, cycling, and going for walks. I really enjoy all these things, Before, it was also ball sports or sports like hockey and floorball. I have absolutely no problem with that, and I think it's better when a person is more versatile rather than focused on just one activity, especially when it comes to developing the musculoskeletal system. And now we're getting to the point, this is just my opinion of course, you can have a different one and that's totally fine. We're getting to the point that I'm telling you this so you can achieve that rapid growth, not just through proteins, because that's kind of slow, right? There are more and more companies doing this now, and it takes time and so on, so that it can really give you that rocket growth, that hockey stick, as investors always say when they look at the graph. They're always looking for that hockey stick, gosh, and so on. So you have to look for exactly this kind of, let's say, room for improvement. In practice, this could mean that you can actually look for something like what? You already see demand for it somewhere in the market. You already know that something like this works abroad. Maybe you see it spreading from America to Europe, or it's already in Europe. You see that it would probably make sense that it could work. You try to create the first line of such a product by ordering a sample or a single package from the companies that make it abroad. Just order it from, say, 10 companies, or maybe 5 that do this. You simply organize a tasting test at your company or in your local area. Ideally, it should represent at least your customer, at least to some extent, which is of course hard to replicate, but let's say that's the goal. And then once you've done this, you pick something from it. If it's supposed to be something that tastes good, like butter, that's exactly what you do. If it's clothing, then it's something else entirely. If it's a service, again, you try to test how much interest there would be in it, or how little interest, again, within a smaller circle. The product of those services is usually a bit simpler. Not always, but it tends to be easier, like putting together some kind of massage, or I don't know, something like that. You take it, promote it, and see what kind of feedback you get. That means you put it on your e-shop, put it on your website, and promote it. Maybe through Facebook ads, because those are the most acquisition focused, and can reflect that you have a new project, product, some news, or a new service. You test it, put a few thousand, maybe tens of thousands into it to see what happens next, and you'll see the feedback. Then, from the customers who buy it, ideally you want to get as much information out of them as possible. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to miss similar videos, practical tips, whether from current successful companies or from past successful companies, be sure to subscribe to this channel. There will be a lot more videos like this here. Road to Billion is a new series where we try to get closer to the mindset, the way of thinking, the top-down approach of running a company. It's about how to think about these things and what to actually do. Then, of course, we also have a bunch of specific videos on how to set up campaigns, how to do these kinds of things. We break things down and we even write things out nicely on a light board or flip chart, or draw them on a tablet so I can share it with you in the video, and so on. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any new videos, and also give this video a like. If you enjoy this format, I need your feedback. I need these videos to reach more people so we can get real feedback that these videos are valuable to you. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Back to the topic. That means at this point, you need to find out if a real customer actually wants it, and if so, what they would want to change about the product or service to be willing to pay that price. Or what would make them willing to pay for it regularly as possible, if it's a product that can be subscribed to or purchased on a recurring basis. And this is something you have to do at the beginning. And of course, you can try to look for some tools for this. For example, you can use Google Trends, meaning you can check Google Trends to see what people are searching for abroad that isn't available here yet. You can also look at what is starting to be searched for in the Czech Republic, but you're not doing it or offering it yet. That's the first thing. You can look for sites like Trend Hunter, I think that's what it's called, and many others. If you type into Google something like trending products in Europe, or in USA, or Czech Republic, it will find you similar tools and resources where you can search for this kind of thing. There are some graphs and so on. And then of course you can also try using AI, meaning you can input or enter it into AI. Trending products. Of course, be careful about hallucinations there, meaning always double check the information. Always ask for sources from the AI. Ask for links so you can click through and find out a bit more about the product. Maybe on a website the AI provides as a reference, and so on. So I would definitely recommend using AI, whether it's Google Gemini 3, an awesome tool, or the AI mode within Google Search, which is fantastic. You can also try Perplexity, or at the same time, of course, GPT, that goes without saying. Alternatively, Grok is interesting because it actually has integration or a connection with X, so there. It's great because a lot of those trending products, for example, are shared on X. So it has access to that data, which means it can work with this as well. And that's how you actually find out and experiment. Of course, you'll never know in advance whether it will work out or not. Not even they know that. But that's exactly where. That's the kind of return we're talking about. It's like when you tried out Bitcoin, you tried out crypto before it became this famous, and that's where you can make that 100 times, 1,000 times return on your initial investment. Of course, there can easily be dozens of these types of products that you try out before you find the right one, before you find the one that actually works, the one that makes sense. But that's just how it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it works. So there's not much you can do about it. And I would recommend you do this because I see companies doing it. Of course, maybe not yet on this scale, which I would actually recommend to our clients as well. But of course, not everyone does this, right? Not everyone is this far along, but I would recommend it to them. And of course, we see this with other companies too. Typically GymBeam here, who really understands this well, does it very well, and tries to innovate with the products they then sell. And by being one of the first, it's obviously extremely lucrative for them, because being one of the first is always better than being one of the last. That's pretty clear. And the point is, when you're first, you get to set better margins. That's the key thing. That means when you're one of the first, you probably have better margins, because there's no competition yet, so no one's pushing your prices down, since there aren't 10 other companies offering the same cream or the same products yet. So that's the first thing. You can have a better margin, meaning better unit economics, even if your input or production costs are higher, because you're not producing that much yet. So yeah, it has its pros and cons, but most of the time it works out better for you. You test what the customer wants, you try different things, and then you start offering them to the customer. And the advantage is that since you're just starting out, you get that data, and you get more of it. About your customers, what they want, what they like, what appeals to them, how much they're willing to pay, how to present the product, the service, and so on. And that's a huge advantage over your competition, who will still be trying to figure out this information. And you already have it. So speed is absolutely crucial here. That means being quick to start promoting, being quick to be seen as the #1 brand that came up with this first. Speed in quickly testing, quickly trying out the products, and again, this cycle never ends. That means you actually go through this cycle, say with the first product, or rather you try out 10 products, one of them works, you go through this cycle with that one, but you keep looking for more products that could work like this, and you keep testing all the time. So ideally, if you have someone on your team, or even you as the founders or marketing managers take charge of this, you'll allocate 5 to 10 hours a week to it. Maybe 5 to 10 hours a month at the beginning, but later on it will definitely take more hours, even weekly, on a week-to-week basis. And you'll start doing this fully and testing it out. I believe that this accelerator, let's say, can be one of the key factors that helps you move from one level to a higher one, where things might start to feel a bit easier for you. You might even be able to hire people for your team. You'll have more people here, each of whom can handle a specific task. That means you'll be able to delegate better, shift responsibilities more effectively, and work with those people more efficiently. And I think that's exactly what most of you are looking for, to reach that stage where it's no longer just about a team of 3 or 5 people where everything falls on you, but instead you have individual responsibilities, and thanks to that you can grow and scale faster. Because at the end of the day, AI will definitely help you. That's great. Automation, for sure, yes. But if you want to scale your company like this, if you want to move it forward, then chances are you simply won't be able to do it fast enough unless you have social capital. In other words, unless you have more people, more helpers who will assist you with it. That's probably pretty obvious. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Road to a Billion, the journey to 1 billion. Over the past 11 years, we have made our clients 1 billion in profit through online marketing. I believe these videos give you a kind of mindset perspective on what to do, how to approach it, and how to think about things so that you can get closer to that billion, whether in your own company or in several companies, or even, of course, achieve it. That's all from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a like, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. And if you register using the link in the video description, that would be great too. To the online marketing community, or more precisely, to the waiting list for the online marketing community, where we'll also be discussing all these things. That way, you'll not only have the right mindset and business setup, but you'll also know how to click the right buttons, fine-tune things, and design them properly. Plus, you'll be able to look at everything from above, think about it the right way, and be sure you're actually doing the right thing, which is also key. And also, don't forget that yesterday we published, well, maybe before, depending on when this video comes out, another video that's really interesting. So check it out here. It's going to be very useful. See you again in the next video in this Road to Billion series, or in other series you can find here on the channel about business, marketing, online marketing, or even startups. Take care. Bye.